Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning. How's everybody doing today? Yes, sir. Got the coffee on deck. Feeling good. Check this chat real quick, see what y'all up to. Hey, good morning, good morning. That chick, yo, what's good? Toronto Riggins in the building. What's good, Health Talk? D-Rob say, haircut, check. Apply for new spot, check. New beginnings on the way. Aha, I love it, I love it, I love it. That's what it's all about, man. Progress. Progressing on your mission. Standing on purpose and living the best life absolutely possible. Welcome everybody to another morning motivation where we build community, expand our thoughts, and get our day started on the right foot. I'm your host, Jamar, and I'm so excited for you to be here. And as you come in, make sure you hit that like button, get us started properly. And so shout out. I love to hear when people talk about what they're doing in life and the progressions that they're trying to make in life. Too many people sit stagnant. Too many people wait for stuff to happen to them instead of making stuff happen. But I know in this community, we're all about making stuff happen because life is neutral in many ways. Life does not play respect to anybody. It's the people that go out and they conquer, they subdue, they have dominion. They have that mindset to go out and conquer. Those are the ones who get the most out of life. Because you can have an orange on your counter, but if you never bust that thing open and squeeze it a little bit to get some of that juice out, it'll just be a pretty piece of fruit until it withers away. And unfortunately, so many people are doing that, which goes in line with what we've been talking about for the last few months. This past week, last week we started with mastery, getting those 10,000 hours in your craft, getting those 10,000 hours in your craft. And not just 10,000 hours randomly, not 10,000 hours over a lifetime. We're talking about 10,000 intentional hours, dedicated time you put into learning something. That's when you become a master at it. That's when you can name your price. I was talking to my son yesterday. I told y'all we gave my son some cameras, all cameras that we weren't using anymore. And he started a business like the next day. He's at school taking pictures, charging the kids, like game footage, game film, game pics, $5, $10 a pic. A little hustle, it's little candy money, little food money, little Shein money. These kids be ordering stuff off Shein left and right. Wait, maybe not all the kids. Some of us adults do too. But, food money. Then the school AD saw his work and said, you know what, young man, I like what you're doing. Hey, can you do that for the school? So now he has a little gig doing it for the school now. It's the progressions. And I equate that to my son has watched me be a freelancer for some years now. Ooh, my son, let me tell y'all this. How old was he? 10 years old, 11 years old. I did this festival, and I was taking my camera out, and it was the Art of Cool Festival in Durham, North Carolina. And this festival hasn't been the same since COVID, but it's starting to come back. I'm hearing the buzz again now. And I'm out there with my camera, and I'm filming some artist's work. He's there. He has his little iPad, and I don't have the picture loaded with me right now, but it's a picture. I forget who took it, but it's a picture of me and him. I'm on one camera. He's on his iPad, and he's filming. That same day, my son has a credit to his name that not many people can get. The first superstar that he ever recorded was Ari Lennox. My son's first, not professional, he didn't get paid for it, but my son's first debut as a videographer was to film Ari Lennox at a rooftop event. Ari acknowledged him, she addressed him, she even apologized for the song she was about to sing next. For those of you who are familiar with Ari Lennox, Backseat was, backseat of my car. She said, "Oh my God, Dad, I'm so sorry. But my next song is," and she looked at Jordan, and she said, "Forgive me." Jordan looked at me like, "What you talking about?" I'm like, "It's okay, son. It's part of the business." So because he saw me filming and working in a space like that, he feels so comfortable going out and doing it for himself now. I had him do an event with me a couple years ago. I gave him a GoPro. I said, "Hey, I want you to capture A, B, C, and D." He went out, did an amazing job. And I'm thinking, wow, this kid is ahead of the curve. So it is no wonder that he is able to just get the camera and just go. He's nowhere near master yet because his big bro will let him know, "Hey, bro, I wouldn't pay for that." You need to get better. But it's the mindset that I'm really talking about this morning. It's the mindset. Now, my other children, the ones that came before him, I was trying to teach them kids how to sell candy at school, how to sell chewing gum, 10 cent, 25 cent here. Just, get that little hustle on. Man, I couldn't get them kids to do nothing. But you know why? Because I wasn't doing it. They didn't see me doing it. They did not see me doing it. But anyway, that's enough of that rabbit trail this morning. Actually, it's not really a rabbit trail because it kind of goes in line with what we're talking about. When you're young, and many of you in the room can attest to this because you've lived longer than 10 years as an adult. When you're young, you're idealistic. Appreciate that. Toronto Reagan says he has an amazing role model and superhero. I don't know. He be wanting to put them hands on that superhero sometime. Because that's the one, he just like me. He will use them paws in a minute. I said something to him kind of slick one day. He didn't like it. He gave me this look. I said, "We got a problem?" He just looked at me like, "Maybe." So yeah, he's definitely the one. I had to really choose my words with him. I can't put him in situations where I'm gonna make him turn into something he don't want to turn into because he might go there with me. But you gotta know your babies, right? You gotta know your babies. So when you're young, you're idealistic and you have these hopes, these dreams, and you have this ideal life that's set out for you or that you at least thinking about. Hey man, it's a real thing. It's a real thing now. In my mind, I'm at the disadvantage just a little bit. Some days he do look like he want to jump a little bit. But as the dad, the mentality is, I got to prove this point and I got to prove it quick, but I don't want to damage him, right? But as the kid, I'm fighting for my life. So sometimes dad ends up on the short end of the stick, trying to, not go too far. And, in a fight, man, anything can happen. Anybody can get lucky. Anybody can have some bad misfortune. So you got to be careful before you go into those situations. But as you grow older, you go into these spaces where you experience some disappointments. your confidence, your self-esteem, it gets a little shaky. And then the excuses start to come. We covered that yesterday. People make excuses for things primarily because there's fear involved. They are being pushed out of their comfort zone, and they're not feeling like it's going to be good because it requires change. The reason why channels like this don't blow up initially is because personal development is a very personal and is a hard thing because it requires accountability. It requires you looking in the mirror at who you really are and deciding to make some changes. Everybody can't catching bullets with his teeth. Everybody can't look at themselves in the mirror and say, I'm going to fix that. It's hard. I'd rather drink it away or smoke it away or sex it away or, whatever. I'd rather be entertained than change. And then we want to justify. And then we want to avoid learning new things that will force us to change. So we stay small. And what that creates is regret. And regret is one of my absolute biggest fears. I don't want to wake up at 70 and look at my life or even see my children and my grandchildren doing things that I always wanted to do. Because that shines a light on me that says I could have done it. And I can make excuses. I can justify why. Well, in my day, we couldn't do this. In my day. But facts are, there's always opportunity to do something. Now, you can't take it as far. You might be ahead of your time. But at least you tried. You opened the door for your children, for other people. And so today, I want to talk about you know a tree by its fruit. You know a tree by the fruit that it bears. And it's a tough one because I'm 48. And at 48, I am in a unique position to where I have friends at different levels. I have friends that I was in the military with. I have friends that I was in college with. I have friends that I was in high school with. And then there's also family members, but we're not going to deal with the family members today on this topic because family members, it is a little bit personal when you start talking about this subject and family members because people think you're talking about them when you're actually not. It's just a part of life. And so before I continue, I want to share it's a TikTok actually that I want to share with you real quick.
Bitter and
resentment turns into a seed of bitterness, and then bitterness grows into a root. And whatever grows into a root in your life will produce fruit. And you bump into some people that are just nasty, some people that are just ungrateful, some people that are just negative and pessimistic and always have something bad to say about everything. And that's the sign that they got a root in them of bitterness. Something turned them sour in the world, and it's hard to help bitter people because they find a problem with every solution. No matter how nice you are to them, no matter how kind, you can bend over backwards trying to help bitter people, and they're like, that's all you got for me? It's a root of bitterness, and you keep seeing the fruit of bitterness. Whatever is a root in you, whatever takes root in you will bear fruit in you. Resentment turns into a seed of bitterness.
Resentment
and
turns
then bitterness
into a seed
grows into
of
a
bitterness.
root. And whatever.
And so I wanted to start it out there simply because there are so many times, actually I might need to go back there, so let me keep that.
What grows into a root?
Sometimes in life, we go through a lot of stuff and it don't always go our way. It doesn't always work out the way that we intended. And there's so many times that I'll get around, I notice when I get around military friends, they're normally pretty good. they're normally pretty good because they're still aspiring to do things, or they're trying to figure out how to use their benefits. They're trying to figure out how to get more education. When I get around my college friends, they're talking about how to go into the next level of management, starting their own businesses or companies, or expanding what they've done professionally for years to turn it into something for them. And then when I go back to my high school friends, the ones who didn't go to college or didn't go to the military, they just got jobs and they worked. And there's nothing wrong with either level, but I've noticed that my high school friends, they tend to have a lot more negative or pessimistic outlook toward life. And not all of them. I just want to put that out there. Not all of them, but there's some, and they don't even present that way. When you see them, you meet them, they're just regular good people. But it's when you talk to them for a few minutes, and they start asking questions. Hey, so what are you up to now? You start telling them, and then you say, what about you? Well, man, same old, man, just working, man, And then here it comes. Hey, man, the man keeping us down, bro. I tried to do this, man. Then I messed around and got locked up, man. Now I got a felony, so now it's hard to get the job that I want, man. Then my girl, she left me, and then the avalanche begins. The avalanche begins. And it's not just with guys. It's also with some of the ladies. Excuse me. Hey, big head, what you been up to? Oh, you married again? Man, you done got, how many wives you got now? I ain't got the first husband yet. And you just got going on and on and on and on. You remember that time we was dating and I'm just like, oh, man. And so I used to avoid those people. When I see them, I would run the other way, quick. Because you know a tree by the fruit that it bears. But this was before I started going on my own journey. And I started to understand that the difference between somebody who is... D-Rob says, okay, I got the spray on me. D-Rob, we're gonna patent that spray, D-Rob. We're going to put that out there in the world because I think a lot of folk need that spray. And so what happens, man, when we have these disappointments, we stop. Or not us, but people stop in general. And they let life go by and they start coasting and drifting. Y'all know I did a show a long time ago about that drifting that happens. And that is like the worst place to be because it keeps you in this comfortable place that you're not really comfortable in. You really want to do something different, but it's hard to get out of a comfort zone. And so now we have the bitter men, and it's not gender, it's not age, because there are a lot of guys that are in their 20s that are bitter. There are a lot of guys in their 30s that are bitter. We call them incels, the guys who sit at home or live in their mom's basement and they bashing women all day long. Guys who've had heartbreak and they've been cheated on or got their heart stepped on, and now they bitter at the world and mad at the world because they can't get promoted at work, because they don't have the qualifications, or they just lame dudes. They don't get along well with people. They're always so negative. Nobody wants to be around that all the time. Then yes, you're going to get the worst out of the opposite sex, because why would they want to attach themselves to that? And then there's ladies. Sometimes we say bitter baby moms. The guy moved on. He's happy in another situation. Or may not even in another situation, but the fact that he moved on. The fact that he moved on irks them so bad. They feel embarrassed. They put so much into this and it didn't work out, and they get stuck. And so now they can't make progress, and all they do is bleed and leak on people. As a matter of fact.
My baby sitting up out there being crying.
I don't care. I told you, stop playing with me.
It's a little language in this one. So I'm over talking it a little bit. Let me mute it real quick. It's a little language in there, but I'm going to show you this here. This is what happens when people get in their feelings. All right, I'm going to come back.
I told you, stop playing with
me. That motherfucker cut my baby.
One thing.
My baby sitting up out there being crying.
I don't care. I told you, stop playing with
me. That motherfucker cut my baby hair out of here. Look at that shit. That shit sad. Hurt my baby.
My levels moving.
But you don't hurt the dad. You hurt her feelings. You hurt my baby feelings. My baby sat there for 2 hours.
I do my own girl hair.
My baby sat there for 2 hours.
Stop playing with me.
All right. Did y'all hear that? Did y'all see that? Because it went dark in my ears, but I see everything moving. So I'm curious if y'all saw that. Am I still connected? Okay. It must be a serious delay today.
I told you stop playing with
This
me.
motherfucker cut my baby hair out of here.
So then,
Look at that
now
shit. That shit sad.
Okay.
Hurt
Good.
my
All
baby
right,
feeling.
well,
Now what?
I can go ahead and stop that now then. This man done went and got this child hair done. Got her hair braided nicely, apparently. Yeah, she mad because some other lady did the baby's hair. And she cut the baby's hair. She didn't take the rubber bands off and pull the beads off. She cut the beads off her baby's hair. She cut the beads off the baby's hair. That's abuse. You know how hurt, not just her feelings, but her self-esteem is. How impactful this is going to be to her for the rest of her life. How's she going to look at her mom for the next few years? This behavior is not uncommon. Unfortunately, it is not uncommon. Why? Because people are people, but when you don't have any purpose in life, when you don't have something that you're striving for, you tend to internalize, or some people tend to internalize this disappointment. D-Rob said later probably still looking for child support too, while the dad doing stuff for the baby. Yeah, that's a slippery slope. I ain't gonna need to step on that slope, D-Rob. That's a slippery slope. But I've just seen a lot of stuff lately that, and it's because we're in a social media age, and so everything is being exposed now. Everything's being exposed. All these court shows and everything else, and these things are televised now. There was a lady who made $200,000 a year. Her baby daddy made $70,000, and she came and she got child support the whole time, and he had the kid, and she came for an increase. So it's crazy, bro. There's a lot of stuff happening, but it's being brought to the light, and we're seeing these things now happen in real time. The things that you may have just heard, and you can make excuse, like the sisterhood could justify just if it was just heard. But if you see it with your own eyes, it's like, yo, she tripping. It's hard to defend things when you can actually see it with your own eyes. So hard. And so this is a great time to be alive. But what you're also seeing is people who could have made it doing something, and now the opportunity comes, but because they didn't get their time in, they didn't focus, they didn't get their mastery done, they didn't become an expert, they're missing the wave. They're missing the wave, and a lot of people are becoming bitter. Some people win early in life. Some people meet their soulmate at 25, 26, and then they stay married for 60 years. Some people meet that same soulmate at 30, but because they don't come with everything that the internet says they're supposed to come with, they let it go. And then they stay in and out of bad relationships for the rest of their life. And that person moves on. Male or female. What up, boo? So it's about not letting yourself become bitter. Let's look real quick. What are some of the things that help people become bitter? And some of these may ring true into some of your lives. Some of these may ring true to some of your family members' lives. And there's a common denominator between the people who do something about it and the ones that don't. And I'll give you that in a second. But people who normally become bitter is people who suffer extreme disappointment or extreme failures. And they feel like they've been treated unfair, and they want to stay in that feeling. They play the victim role. Also, people who've been through some kind of betrayal or rejection. People who have unresolved anger and resentment. People who are always comparing themselves to other people, or always envious. So if you got a friend that's always envious of you, if you got a friend that's always envious of somebody else down the street, or what this person got or what that person got, or always comparing themselves, that person is probably on the road to bitterness. Always some form of trauma and abuse. Lack of closure sometimes. Some people need closure. Some people need to know why this thing happened the way it happened and understand how to prevent it. Some people, it's over. That's all we care about. People who've gone through prolonged stress or struggle. That's why you'll see some people that are on the streets and they'll be holding those signs and they'll be saying, hey, anything help? And they put their friendly face on so they can get that change. But then if you actually was to meet them outside of that street corner, you find out that they are very bitter people. They can't let go of something. They was wronged in some way. Something was stacked against them. And they couldn't get over it. They couldn't get past it. People that are very cynical and pessimistic. They end up bitter because they attract all those things that all they see is cynicism. All they see is the half glass empty. Run for your life when you get around people like that. If there's no positive outlook they have, if there's nothing that they want to do or achieve or something that they're working toward, run. And also, finally, I think the lack of coping skills. If you ever run a person and they can't cope with anything that's happening, Bobby said, I know some people like that. Yeah, it's a lot of people like that in the world. A lot of people. And I give people the most respect when I saw them in a bitter place and they found a way to get out, because that is not easy. When somebody's in a bitter place and they make a decision to change some things, it's a process and it takes some time. But I'm so proud of people when they go through that journey, because most people won't. They're doing something that most people won't or either can't do. Okay, we ain't going there, but I think we all are related to one or two here and there. Because there's family, there's always stories that you could tell about a family. Why you got an aunt that's, acting this way, or you got a grandmother that's acting this way. You got all kind of stuff, man. And it's just the bitterness. The common denominator is purpose. Taking us back to the very beginning of morning motivation, right? Purpose. When a person is not on purpose, when a person has no goals, nothing they're striving for, it's easy to be cynical. It's easy to be pessimistic. Very easy. Very easy. I just had a thought. Y'all remember the guy? Hold on, let me put him back up here. I ain't gonna play the audio, but I just want to put the guy back up here. I need y'all opinion on something. As a person who's starting to turn, I still got more dark hairs than gray hairs, but the gray hairs are trying to take over. What do you think this man got on his head? This is a pause. This is a little break here. Nothing to do with the show. But you think that's did he color that? Is that natural? Is it fried, dyed, laid to the side? What kind of style is this? And do you like it? Because I can't figure out. It looked like it's a comb over from the front, but from the back, it looked like it's kind of waved up. I know this has nothing to do with nothing. Just when I saw the video, I'm just like, I wonder what's going on there. But I like gray hair on other people. I like when people do something with it. I don't know, I'm always amazed. Okay, D-Rob said he looked crazy. Okay. I can dig it. All right, ladies. I need some ladies to chime in. So he went back to the 50s, huh? He got that conk. He went back to the 50s on him. Okay, it was just a passing thought. Just a passing thought. And I meant to ask him why he was up. But yeah. But bitterness, man. Bitterness destroys life. Oh, it's a wig. D-Rob think it's a wig. Y'all think it's a wig? I don't think it's a wig, man. If it is, it's a good one. He paid good money to get that wig split. Pun intended. He paid good money for that. Really good money. So going back to the beginning, you know a tree by the fruit that it bears. You will know a tree by the fruit that it bears. That Chigil says everyone can rock all that silver. You're right. Everybody can't do it. And it depends on if you can grow that much hair and it be gray as a guy. It's always interesting. Like my dad has a fro and it's gray, and it's like all right, but he reminds me of Red Fox, you know, in Sanford and Son. My dad kind of rocked that kind of thing, but this dude got it styled up, and so I'm curious about it, you know, because I'm not sure what your boy gonna do to it one day, you know, got a little gray pieces that be standing out saying, "Hey, I'm here, I'm in charge." But anyway, so I point at my son Jordan because that's my fruit. All of my children are my fruit, but I use Jordan for the example. Because of what I did, he had access to see what it looks like. It definitely, I thought about it at first, but it ain't juicy enough to be a soul glow. It may be an afro sheen. Oh, D-Rob, you know anything about afro sheen, my guy? How far does that knowledge base go back? If your hair is short and nappy, afro sheen will make it. What, y'all? Afro sheen make it what? Oh, man, it's back in the day. His pops didn't have him until he was 50 and his other brother at 55 and 60 years, so he was raised by pops and grandpa. Raised by pops and grandpa. That makes sense. If you think you talking what I'm thinking you're talking about. But yeah, so my mom, if you listen to my mom talk, rock it with the high fade. That's what I'm thinking about doing too. I'm thinking about just keeping that little fade going on and just letting it do what it do. But I know my mom had a very traumatic early life. When my mother was born, her oldest brother was 18. So there was a huge gap in between the siblings. My mother was the baby. And as a parent, you know, once you get to a certain age, you're not trying to have children. Sometimes you can't, but most times you're not trying to have a kid at 55. You're not trying to have a kid at a certain age. Well, my mother was kind of that kid. And sometimes parents are over. I done this so many times, I'm over it. I can still do it, but and so you don't pay as much attention to the baby as you did to the first one or two. And so my mother fell into that group, but it was like 5 of them, maybe 6, maybe 7. I don't know. I lose track. I think she had between 6 and 7. It was 6 or 7 of them in all, and she was the baby. And her dad wasn't around. He was incarcerated. Her mother had her own traumas and heartbreaks, so she was running the streets. And so she wasn't as present as she probably should have been. And my mom fell victim to a lot of abuse from being bullied from her older sisters. And she became hopeful of a new life because she was still young. Then she meets my dad. Now, y'all know I'm in the 8th of my dad's children. My mom's first. So she meet a man who's much more experienced in life, much older than she is in life. And she goes into that situation, they get married, and it's not a happy marriage for her. So all these unrealized dreams, all these this unrealized potential that she thought she had, these opportunities that she thought she wanted, things she thought she wanted to do, she never got to really fully experience them. And then the relationship ends. And it takes some time, but my dad moves on. My mom kind of moves on. But she went through a period for a very long time where she was just bitter at everything and everybody. And she was making everybody's life miserable. Don't tell her I said that. But she know. You know, I don't pull my punches too much. So she already know. We've had this conversation before. However, one day she decided, you know what? I'm letting all that go. I'm letting all the resentment go. I'm letting all the anger go. I'm letting the bitterness go. And I'm going to live my life. And that's what she did. So shout out to Mama P, because she's living a really good life now. She's more pleasant to be around. House is full when she have Sunday dinners. I mean, oh man, I'm so happy that she's gotten to experience this. And so now she's gonna be coming to live with us. And so now my only goal in life is just to give her a higher quality of life, to give her a higher, less stress, more relaxation, more family environment. Because as you get older and your kids go away, and now you find yourself by yourself, and that's a lonely feeling. And so I want to give her something that she never had from a man, really, which is love, unconditional love and stability. And I'm not saying it's to toot my horn, because I can do it if my wife wasn't in complete agreement with me. Matter of fact, she's championing the whole cause. And so yeah, if you're going to celebrate her for having the heart to do that for my mom. And they get along too, so it makes it a little bit easier. But I truly, like I said, I used to avoid people that were bitter. But once I started understanding where bitterness came from, I started to check back in with my mom. I started to check back in with other family members and friends. And everybody doesn't want to come out of that. Some people want to be bitter. Some people want to be bitter. And there's nothing you can do about it. You can't make a person be something they don't want to be. So what I want to do for the remaining time is I just want to have a conversation. And it's really about a lot of what we've already talked about on this show, on this stream. How to prevent yourself from becoming bitter. How to recognize it in other people. And how to potentially help them. Because we all have family members. We all know people. Some people just mean and angry for no reason. There's a reason. We'll probably never know what that reason is. So on this Feel Good Friday, I want to give out some tips on dealing with that. Because you can too be a role model. Sometimes you have to say something. And sometimes you don't. And it's only up to you to know how you do that. But I had to say something to my mom many years ago. And she didn't like it. We didn't speak probably for about 6-7 months. But when she realized I stood on what I stood on, she broke the ice. Oh, you can't call your mama? Hey, mama, how you been? I'm good. I thought you would have come see me by now. I'm on the way. What you cooking for dinner? What you want? And we broke bread and we got it straight. D, fire. D said, accept what was and come to peace with what is. That's it. That's it. And one of the ways to accept it is to practice gratitude. Practice gratitude. You know how many times I'm going through something that's not positive, that's really bad, it's stressing me out. Especially, and somebody told me this years ago, I was complaining about the job. He said, hey, I know the job isn't all it's supposed to be, but you got a job. Be grateful that you have a job. Be grateful that somebody can get on your nerves. Be grateful. And I was like, man, whatever, until I lost that job. And when I lost that job, I was like, man, it really wasn't that bad. Because I'm the person, if I have a regular job at 9 to 5, and for some reason I find myself unemployed, I already know it's gonna be 12 months, maybe 6. Some people can lose a job and get one the next day. I'm not that people. I have cousins that will quit. I had one cousin, he had 4 different jobs in the same month. How he does it, I don't know. I have no idea. Me, I lose a job, bro. I'm on Indeed. I'm sending out resumes. I'm going on first interviews only. I'm looking at I got the want ads out. I got the Craigslist ads out. I'm on Indeed. I'm all over the place, and I finally scratch out a job doing something that I don't even know what I'm doing. But it be like that sometimes. But practicing gratitude is one way to really stave off when tough times come, when the stressful times come. Being grateful. And only in America can we leave a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house with a garage, get down the street in our nice new car, and get to work and complain about how unfair life is. That chick said, just had this conversation yesterday. Yeah, it's a conversation that should be had almost every day, in all honesty. Should be had every day. Because people don't realize how good, in this country at least, that we actually have it. If you drive by the projects, any random U.S. city, particularly in the South though, because in the North, public transportation is a big deal. But in the South, you gotta have a car. So if you drive through the projects, what you'll see is, at least what I see in the ones I drive by, you see nice cars, some nicer than the one I'm driving. People that's there are not paying rent or paying much rent. So they got housing, they're getting food, their bills are paid. All they got to pay for is their gas, their car insurance, and their cell phone, and maybe the cable. But they live in a good life. Their life is a lot less stress in their life, as far as what my stressors are. In America, the poorest of us still live well. You're not worried about food. You're not worried about how you're going to keep the lights on. You're going to be hot or cold. You're not really worried about that for the most part. Unless you choose to be out there, in the back, off the grid somewhere. But then you can chop down trees. You can get your heat. You can take a dip in the pond if it's too hot. I mean, we have the right to choose. So we have a lot to be grateful for. But the biggest sticking point that put most people in a bitter space is the lack or the inability to forgive. The lack or the inability to forgive. D-Rob says, I'm still working on coming to peace with what was. Until then, I can't even give a woman my time. I do understand that. And it's a process. But even in bad relationships, there was some good in them. Even in the bad relationships, there was some good in them, which is why they still linger on you, which is why the disappointment was there, because there was so much good there. And so I've learned to be grateful for the good times. I've learned to be grateful for having the time that I had with this person on my journey. Because this person, D-Rob said, wouldn't want to waste her time, if that makes sense. Oh, it makes total sense. It makes total sense. And there is no one way to live life. There is no one way to do relationships. It just isn't. If you have a connection with someone in life and you may be heartbroken, you may be whatever. Now, as a guy, you can't go tell this chick, oh yeah, I'm still struggling over my ex. She don't want to hear that. She instantly just got turned off. The Sahara Desert just showed up in her mind. You can't be all gushing about your ex and how you're feeling. That's a huge turn off for at least the ladies that I know. Maybe some other people, that's a turn on for them. But for me, I've noticed that a lot of women don't want to be hearing you gush. They want to see you strong and confident. And whatever that looks like to you or to them, you know, it may look totally different to you. I'm being vulnerable. Don't women want a man that's vulnerable? No, not really. I'm vulnerable enough to hear her. And maybe even, you know, shed a tear or two, you know. Maybe it's but it can't be no regular thing. Don't be crying every day. They don't want to hear that. I mean, am I wrong? Am I right, ladies? Am I wrong? Do y'all want me, baby, do you want me crying on your shoulder every day about something, about how I'm feeling? I'm gonna go and answer that for a no. Because by the third day, she looking at me like, you still crying? Matter of fact, did I cut this thing on? Let's see. Oh, yeah. I'm back orange today, though. Nah, just glowing. Just glowing. The glow up. You still crying, though? Yeah. Oh, I know what it is. Okay, never mind. Production thing. So it's not really about wasting time. Friendships are good, though. You need the friendships, D. You need the distraction sometime. And most long-lasting relationships develop a friendship either on the front end or during. But the only way you're going to be happy with somebody else is when not until you're happy with yourself. And you guys have common ground, commonalities. You have these things this glue that holds you together when the bad times come. And even when the petty times come, there's this glue that holds you together. And you want that. You want that. And that's what the friendship is. That's what the friendships create. See, Toronto Reagan says, do you agree with what Shaq shared with Shannon about not opening up to women? I know what you're referencing, but I did not see it for myself. So I don't have I don't have enough information to answer that fully. But what I will say is sometimes, guys, we can be a little too hard. We can be a little too stoic. We can be a little too emotionless. Sometimes, yes, it does require softness. Sometimes it does require, it's like I've never been like a cuddler. But my wife likes that. So I had to learn that, okay, I need to get uncomfortable now. And the reason, not because I don't want to, well, y'all know physical touch ain't my love language. It's my wife's. And so women, y'all hot. And y'all bodies run really hot at night. And so when I go to cuddle, I instantly start sweating. Just like the beads start running down my forehead and my chest is, who wants to sleep in a wet spot, right? So it's like, I just don't really cuddle. But that's a sacrifice I have to make. And I've done it to the point now where it doesn't bother me. Now, some days I'll be like, whew, get off me. I don't say that, but in my mind, I'm like, oh man, I'm sweating. Because I'll wake up and I'll just be sweating. But not just with that, it is also expressing my feelings more. Telling her how I feel about certain things. Not overly doing it. I'm still going to shut my mouth. I'm still going to go hustle and work. I'm not going to complain about a lot of stuff. I'm going to sit there and I'm going to listen to her. I'm going to support her. Those are the kind of vulnerabilities that I make. I'm not gushing all about my pains and my problems and all of these things. Because there is a piece that, I think it was it Gayle King just said that she was dating a guy and she really liked the guy and he asked to borrow $4,000 to catch him on some child support or something. Something happened. I forget exactly what happened. But she gave it to him And he paid her back. But she said, I just couldn't look at him the same way anymore. I couldn't see him the same way anymore. And so this is no slight to ladies. This is no slight to the ladies. But sometimes y'all don't know what y'all want. And it's not that you don't know. Now I want to rephrase that. It's not that you don't know what you want. The idea of what you want and the reality of what you get are two different things sometimes. What up, John? What up, Random? What are we talking about? You got to know who you're with. If you open up and she uses it against you or it is not supportive, men learn to pull back. But if she holds you down, you learn to open up more. Facts. Because I'm going to be honest with you. If I'm opening up to you and I'm telling you why I feel a way or why I do a thing, and then you take what I said and now we arguing about how I feel because how it made you feel, yeah, I'm not going to share too much with you. I'm not going to open up to you. I can't trust you with my feelings. I can't trust you with my feelings. Randy said also you can teach people teach people how to treat you. That's my favorite go-to. Tell your person what you need. If you get it, you know you can open up more. Bad facts. What's that now? We don't know what we want. Oh man. Now knowing what you want and expressing what you want in terms that your partner can understand, that's the hurdle. That's the hurdle. Because both sexes, both men and women, we have these ideas in our head. And trying to get them out for the other person. That's why communication can be tough sometimes. Trying to express what I'm feeling, trying to express what I'm thinking in a way that the person can receive it is the challenge, and it varies from person to person. Oh, don't worry. You gonna get it. Don't worry, baby. Don't worry. Yep, don't even worry. But yeah, man, that unforgiveness, right? And so when you're dealing with a person who is stuck in that bitter space, we're dealing with a person who just can't, they'll have no peace within themselves. They have no good thoughts, and so they can't support anybody. That chick said, tell me what you want in the right tone. So, ladies, let me ask this question. Is tone that important that you don't hear the words? Is tone like a barrier to understanding? Why is that? Why is that? Oh man, chicken minutes, right? Why is that? Now, as a guy, I know you can say some stuff to me and I'm gonna look at you sideways, but I'm gonna hear what you said. Now, there is a tone that will probably trigger me, but I don't really know exactly what that tone is. From a guy, it's like whatever. From a girl, it's the tone of disrespect. But I know I can talk to my, I'll just say my daughter. I can talk to my daughter, one of my daughters, about one thing, and I'll say it to her, and she gets it, she moves on. I can use the same exact tone with my other daughter, and she's in a puddle of tears. And I'm thinking, what did I say? I wasn't being mean. I was just, this is what it is. It's like, I struggle with that. Randy said, Toronto Regan says, wait a minute, hold on. Back that yo says y'all need to come get Mama P. Tone is very important. Breakfast chicken scrambled bowl. Tone carries intent. Tone is for sure important. Mama P better put some earmuffs on. It's the delivery. If I'm yelling at you, expressing how I feel, you won't hear it. I mean, I'll hear it. I'm going to ignore you until you learn how to talk to me a little bit better. I'm going to be like, hey, can you cut that down some? Can you mute that? No, you ain't going to mute that? All right. I mean, I get it. But what I'm saying is, tone is sometimes used to brush over the point of what's said. Because I can say it calmly, I can say it aggressively, I can say it excited, I can say it depressed. But if you don't like what I'm saying, no matter how I say it, you're not going to receive it. I think that's the larger point that I'm trying to get at. Because I can use a tone, and my tone is pretty neutral for the most part. I do drop notes of sarcasm depending on who I'm talking to, though. That's yours is my point exactly. Yeah. So that's what I'm. Well, we might be talking about. I did move on a little bit from that. My point is, if the tone is neutral, but you don't like what I say. If the tone is neutral, because most times when we first start talking about some stuff with our significant others or kids or whatever, the tone is generally neutral. Hey, what happened today in school? I don't really like what you did, so we need to figure out a way to address that. Mom, I don't really like how you say it. Oh, no, they act like they can't hear you. And then you raise your voice. Now it's all about your tone. But they heard what you said in the beginning. It's like the mind game that comes associated with it, and tone is like the excuse. Better read the room. I will give a look and leave you standing by yourself if you come at me with the wrong tone. Yep, I feel you. So somebody gonna chime in, or did I miss it? Somebody gonna chime in on what I'm saying. If it's not the tone that's the problem. Say you talking to a family member, an aunt. Let's say an aunt, and you tell your auntie that her outfit is a little young. So, hey auntie, it's a cute outfit, but we might need to rethink that. And then she says, well, I don't like the tone you're taking with me, young lady. Did you take a tone with her? Oh, you telling her the truth about trying to help her out. It's a slippery slope. And it's one that I know is not going to be solved, at least not in the next couple of minutes. But I'm just asking the question. We expanding our thoughts. Sometimes we take stuff and we create problems when there really probably shouldn't have been a problem because we didn't like what was said. And it's not just ladies, guys do it all the time too. Which goes into our last point. So that ain't my business. I ain't paid for it. And then auntie come back and say, why y'all didn't tell me I was looking crazy? Because when we tell you about everything, you get upset. Sound like that your is shut down on that one too. Okay. But that goes to this last point for the day. When you're dealing with people that are bitter, you have to set boundaries. You have to set boundaries. And even if you are the one who may be experiencing a moment of bitterness, you got to set boundaries. I don't want to damage the relationship, so I'm going to stay away for a few minutes. Or I need to go I need to go get in the car and go ride out somewhere. You got to set those boundaries for yourself. If every time you call this person is drama, maybe we ain't calling no more. Maybe we're going to just text them from now on. It was, hey, give me a call. Say, I can't talk right now. Just, I hit you up later. And later will never come. Toronto Rican says, wouldn't be my place to say anything to her about her look. Although she could be going through a crisis. Yeah. All I know, the easy way out of most situations is to avoid it. I'm a master at it. I will avoid a topic. I'll avoid a conversation. But even that will cause problems sometimes because now you're disconnected. Now you're not hanging out with the family. You're not doing this. You're not doing that. And then when I'm around, well, you think you're better than everybody. You think this, you think that, or you. It's people are people, and when somebody is bitter, you're not going to win any kind of moral victory. You're not going to win any kind of prize. They will never be satisfied with the effort that you put in. That's what Yo says. Can't even text because that's an argument. Yes. So bitter people, dealing with bitter people, you have to set boundaries. You can love people from afar. You can love people from afar, and that's okay. And when they ask you, now if they come asking, you can tell them, hey, why don't we talk no more? It's like, it's because you kind of going through some stuff, or just say you're bitter. I'm not sugarcoating it because we're not talking that much anyway, so I'm going to tell you how I feel. You are very bitter. You make everybody around, you make everybody miserable. And we love you. We want to have a relationship with you. I just stopped and looked at the likes. I'm still stuck at 4 likes. Come on, man. What y'all doing with these likes? Y'all don't like the show today? Well, give me some dislikes. How about give me some dislikes today? Drop a few dislikes in that end. But sometimes you gotta tell them what it is. Look, we ain't talking no way. So here's the story. Every time I call you, it's a problem. I can't do anything right. You critique everything that I do, and I don't need that energy in my life right now. So if you're gonna continue to be that way, I'm gonna continue to keep my distance. No shade to you. I love you. You know, if you ever need me, I'm always here for you. But I just can't have a relationship with you, a regular relationship. And then walk away. Call it a day. Let them deal with it. Or you can pop smoke like a ninja and be gone. Don't you ask for dislikes. I just want some. I think I understand now. When you watch, you watching YouTube and you watch live streams and they'll be like, yo, it's 500 people in the room and it's like 15 likes. It's like, what's happening? It's like, are y'all bots? Is this information any good? Do I need to just go and stop this stream? Is it pointless? It's like, that's the only feedback we get as content creators is when we see the comments in the chat and we see the likes. And in the comment, you're only going to have a small few commenting. But the overall likes tell you what the overall vibe of the room was, that people really appreciate it or not. So, but yeah, man, dealing with bitter people is it's a tough thing. And, shout out to anybody who has to do it and they have to do it. But the biggest thing you want to do is you want to practice gratitude. You want to practice forgiveness. Or if you find yourself sliding that way, hey, big head, all men are dogs, or all these girls just want your money. And, you got to develop coping skills. You got to challenge negative thinking. But the biggest key is you got to seek purpose. It's hard to be on your purpose and still be bitter at everybody else. When you're on purpose, you don't have time to be bitter about what somebody else is doing or what somebody didn't do. Being on purpose is the key to your happiness. So when you meet somebody and they saying, I'm not happy, look at that. Look at what they're doing. Ask them, what's your goals? What you trying to do with your life? What do you want to accomplish? And the answer is gonna be, I don't know. And that's why they're unhappy, because they're drifting. They're not even comfortable. They're just drifting. And wherever they end up is anybody's guess, and they know it. They hate it. Toronto Rican said, that's me, be gone. That's the first thing I do is hit the like. Well, I appreciate you. Yes. Some of y'all hit it before you even join the stream. The reminders are important because Bobby S says the reminders are important because I know I forget to give likes until someone asks for it, and ask again because I forget again that quick. I get it. 2 for $5. What, $5? Oh, two $5 cat heifer spray. D-Rob said, hey, big head will get you sprayed. Oh, man, you know when you hear that, hey, big head, here comes trouble. Here comes somebody who trying to rekindle something that they blew a long time ago. They're trying to recapture something. They circling the block, as they say. Going through the old Rolodex, trying to figure out, hey, man, who had a crush on me? I wonder what they doing now. Hey, man, I wonder what the old girl doing, man. Her she just went through a divorce. Think she got low self-esteem, man? Hey, man, husband cheated on her with the cat, so probably. Hey, man, this is an interesting conversation, and coming up here real soon. This is episode 92, so the countdown begins to 100. And as y'all already see, I've made some changes. I've changed the look of the show. I'm changing the sound of the show in some ways. And so once we cross the 100 episode mark, y'all let me know. What should we do for the 100th episode? Should we do something special? Is there y'all want to do a call? Y'all want to do a panel for the 100th show? You want me to drop a link and we come up and talk about, some things? What do y'all want to see for this 100th show? Because it wouldn't even be possible without y'all. So I want to celebrate it with y'all. So y'all let me know over the next week some good ideas that y'all want to do. Matter of fact, if you want to start putting them in the comments, I'll leave the stream open for a little while, and so I can read them. But if not, then be thinking about it over the weekend, and we'll talk about it again next week. But confidence, purpose, affirmations, and gratitude, those are the things that will keep you in a happy space in life. Mastery, becoming an expert at something, gives you purpose and direction. People will seek you out when you are competent. You can demand your price when you're competent. You attract better quality relationships and people when you're competent. When you're on purpose, when you're confident. Life doesn't get any easier, but you manage it much better. You have access to resources that you probably wouldn't have had if your attitude was different. So my challenge to you all this weekend, is enjoy. Reflect on, am I happy with life? Reflect on where I want to go. Reflect on your relationship statuses and am I content with them? And then let's create some plans to go out and become, have, and be the things that we want to be, the type of life and people that we want to be. Because this is morning motivation, where we build community and expand our thoughts. And we also get our day started on the right foot. So you guys go have a great weekend. Hope your team wins. Hope you have a safe and happy Super Bowl weekend. So y'all be blessed. We will see you on Monday. Peace.
Catches bullets